Oh, get an umbrella so you don't feel the rain on your skin this morning. You should be used to it by now. Another wet start. It's Thursday morning. We're glad you're up with us on 13 Sunrise. As you look out downtown Monument Circle, those clouds are moving in, or maybe sticking around, I should say.
Sticking around, I think, yeah. So overnight, we know we had some heavy rain, depending on where you were. And now it's just kind of that misty rain. I'll drop a little on you if I want, maybe a little more over here. It's kind of the morning we're having.
It is a little bit wet. Now, if you're driving, you may get wet for a few seconds and then it's already over. These things are small.
Just long enough to get the windshield wipers going, and then you cut them back
And then
off.
you're anyway, what was that for?
Yeah.
I didn't need them. But no, we got some isolated rain out there. I want to track it for you. We'll let you know where the showers are, where they're headed next this morning for you. And then I think we really have a good afternoon on the way. It's just this morning that there are some scattered showers and even a few downpours. You're seeing a couple raindrops on the lens right now in Carmel. The streets are wet in Indianapolis. Heads up in Connorsville and Greensburg. The rain showers are headed towards you. In Noblesville, we've had a couple isolated sprinkles, but nothing too crazy. Everything's been more for the southern, western, and eastern suburbs. Our northern suburbs, Zionsville, Carmel, to Westfield, Noblesville, and Fishers, everything's been a little bit on the lighter side. But boy, those clouds are low. Salesforce Tower goes up just over 700 feet, and the clouds are right there this morning, just barely above the One America Tower, which, by the way, they're getting some new signage, so you may see that over the next couple of days. This morning, though, it's a wet start for some of us. There's so many of us, though, that are dry this morning, and you won't have to worry about a thing, especially if you live out to the west or kind of the north and west. Areas east of Indianapolis and south of Indianapolis, we've got some of those scattered showers and even a few downpours. I mean, we've got some heavy rain briefly coming right over Greenwood, Center Grove, good morning, Bargersville to Franklin to Whiteland. You get north towards the New Pal area, getting into Greenfield, Eastern Hancock. We've got some rain, isolated showers from Muncie to Anderson to Pendleton. A couple little sprinkles around Westfield and Carmel and Fishers, just very hit or miss, and heavy rain coming down to Bloomington. So we do have some showers. We'll track them throughout the rest of this morning. We're also tracking a lot of birds. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well. In the meantime, let's talk traffic. It is 6:02. Some of us don't have to worry about things and hitting pavement because it's perfectly dry and nothing's coming at you. But we do have some slowdowns this morning as you're approaching the South Split and also I-65 there in Greenwood, where the rain's actually coming down in a big way. Let's keep it on the theme of 65, but I'm going to take you farther to the south. Good morning, Bartholomew County. This is State Road 46 taking you right into Columbus. You're looking north, so the headlights headed south. Notice there is a closure on the ramp. There's two lanes here because if you use from the driver's perspective, the left-hand lane, you can go east into Columbus. You use the right-hand lane, you can now go out towards the west. That eastbound ramp, though, is closed, and it will likely be closed through the day today. Then you get farther north towards Harding Street. We did have a new report of a crash that just came in on I-7 in the eastbound direction, kind of near the zoo. And it looks like you can't see it from this perspective, but you definitely see the rain, Julia, out there this morning.
You do. Thank you, Matt. This morning, we're hearing from some pretty concerned parents of Warren Central dancers upset that their daughters came home with serious burns after practice last week.
So they say this was part of a punishment during their practice. So now their parents want some answers. Marina Silva is in studio looking at what happened. First of all, so strange here, Marina.
Absolutely. Well, the parents of two dancers shared photos with us showing the injuries to their hands and their feet. These are the hands of Trinity. She's a student at Warren Central. When her dad picked her up from majorette practice, she told him the coach made them all do bear crawls on the black track. But she also told her dad that she was told to do more because of her grades. Her parents tell us she's still in the hospital a week later. We know another dancer also suffered blisters. She is not in the hospital, but she's in pain and she's struggling to do a lot of her schoolwork. Her mom, Renisha Banks, spoke with us about how her daughter is doing today.
Some of the, like I said, blisters have popped, but she still has the scarring and just the soreness in her palms, and as you've seen in the pictures, fingertips and things like that.
13 News reached out to Warren Central High School. They sent us a statement saying, in part, "We are taking this matter very seriously, conducting an active investigation, and remain in close contact with students and families to support their recovery." Now, this morning, I checked with Matt Stanridge. Let's see what the weather was like last Thursday. It was 89 degrees right about the time they got out of school, meaning the black track would have been at least 99 degrees.
Oh, yeah. And just regardless, when you see your student come home with their hands like this, I don't even know if questions is the right.
Parents' instinct goes in and you get very upset and want a lot of answers.
When you see the pictures, it's terrifying. Like they would have been in a lot of pain.
Yeah. Okay. We'll keep this story updated, which I'm sure a lot of parents got some concern about this morning. Thank you, Marina.
Well, the vision for the future of downtown Indianapolis will soon be unveiled.
Yeah, Downtown Indy Inc. State of Downtown will be presented later today. This should give some more insight on what leaders want to do to make this area better. Anna Chalker is live this morning with what we may learn at tonight's event. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning, ladies. Well, this city's calendar this year has been full with all of the events. Kind of hard to remember exactly what has gone on this year. And you know, the city has made itself a big tourist city here recently, but this State of Downtown will really focus more on the residents and all of the permanent things here that have helped make this city grow. So here are a few things that Downtown Indy Inc. will be talking about at this State of Downtown. First, they'll be celebrating all of those events and the conventions that were held in the city this year. They'll also launch their new brand and reveal new findings from the Downtown Perception Survey. Over 1,000 people gave feedback on what they think are the best and also worst parts of downtown. So, for example, 56% of people say they feel safe in this area. Some other topics they talked about: cleanliness, downtown programming, and walkability. So all of this starts at 4 o'clock tonight. And like I mentioned, feeling safe in downtown is a big chunk of what this State of Downtown really is. It's also a big push coming from the City County Council to the whole county throughout the year. So we'll be talking about the Public Safety Committee budget that was passed last night as it's getting ready to be put into this full council budget.
All right, Anna, thank you. A lot of interest in this one. Appreciate it.
It's 6:06 this morning. A man is now charged for a shooting that killed a UPS worker on the northwest side.
28-year-old Paris Mall now facing one count of murder in 22-year-old Lorenzo Murray's death. And we know the two were actually co-workers, so they worked together. It happened in August near a UPS distribution center on West 81st Street.
Officers say Murray had just gotten off work there. He was sitting on a bench when he was shot and killed. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition but didn't survive there. And authorities say before the shooting, Murray told his girlfriend that Mall was, quote, being weird, but he didn't go into depth about what that meant or what happened.
It's incredibly frustrating anytime that we see a temporary emotion lead to a permanent consequence. In a situation like this, conflict resolution is key. We cannot point a firearm and pull the trigger at somebody in anger.
While Mall is being held without bond this morning, his next court date is scheduled for November.
An Indiana man on death row for murder will stay behind bars for now.
The Indiana Parole Board actually voted unanimously yesterday to recommend that the state deny clemency for Roy Ward. He's set to be executed now October 10th for the rape and murder of a 15-year-old in 2001. Ward's legal team argued that he could potentially feel pain during that execution, and they say that violates his Eighth Amendment rights.
So Ward's death would also mark the third execution in Indiana since the state resumed the death penalty late last year.
Another proposed data center in central Indiana is getting some pushback from those that live nearby.
Now, this one is in Morgan County, just east of Monrovia. So in February, commissioners did approve a rezoning request for nearly 400 acres here on this site in a pretty rural area, it looks like. Well, now they want to expand this by another 150 acres.
Christopher Lamberson is a farmer near that proposed site, and he tells us that he's worried about this effect on the area.
And I hope she sees that the comprehensive plan is not conducive with this data center. I hope she sees that the impact of this data center is going to hurt families who are already struggling to pay their utility bills. I hope that we can see that this is not what's best for our community.
Commissioner Kenny Hale says that he supports the data center, calling it what's best for Morgan County. The Morgan County Plan Commission has a special meeting on Monday to consider this expanded rezoning request, though some neighbors tell us they plan to be there, but to protest.
And remember, there was just Google, that big company, pulling out of plans to build a massive data center in Indianapolis. And really, there was a lot of opposition from residents here, but no really reason was given from the company. Lamberson, though, tells us watching that situation really taught him and his neighbors to keep the pressure on these companies.
Well, this was a big talker, especially for teachers here in Indiana. Some changes into how they're evaluated and eventually rewarded each spring.
So this is called Teacher Appreciation Grant Program, or TAG. So previously, most teachers, if they were evaluated as effective or highly effective, they received a stipend or a bonus in the spring as a reward, anywhere from $250 to $600. So very nice little chunk of change.
Yeah, the Indiana State Teachers Association says that old model recognized teachers working together to meet those high standards. But they say this new program offers bigger bonuses, but to fewer teachers based on a stricter guideline. So this new TAG program limits the awards to no more than 20% of certified teachers in that district. ISTA says it could make for an unhealthy competitive approach amongst teachers, especially for those who've scored well in the past and who may depend on that stipend coming each spring.
Yeah, the ISTA shared a statement saying in part, quote, while we support meaningful recognition for great teaching, this new model raises concerns about fairness, the erosion of collaboration, and the exclusion of many deserving educators. Well, the Department of Education says that it is focused on educators who significantly impact students' outcomes.
As for what's next, though, at the end of October, schools will find out how much money they can divvy up into these stipends, and those go out in the spring. We've linked this specific criteria so you can take a look at how big those new stipends could be and how they'll be divided up at WTHR.com. The USDA says it is ending a report that tracks food insecurity. One local nonprofit says that it makes their work even harder. We'll explain.
And the FBI saying a shooting at an ICE facility in Texas was a targeted attack. We have the latest on the search for why it happened coming up.